This is Apple's cheapest laptop ever, and today I finally got my hands on one. If you haven't guessed it already, this is the MacBook Neo. Apple released this thing probably around 3 months ago now, but because I did not want to look like an Apple glazer trying to pour a font, I waited. If only those Apple glazers are the same thing. But anyways, let's open this thing up and see if it was worth the $600. Now that I've got this MacBook all set up, let's talk about some pros and cons. Some obvious cons include not having a backlit keyboard, as you can see right here. The keyboard is not able to light up, which is kind of disappointing because I used to have a MacBook from 2012 that had a backlit keyboard, so that's kind of disappointing. Another con includes not having MagSafe, as you can see right here. There are only two USB-C ports, and unlike other MacBooks, they're not very fast. This one is a USB-C 3 port, and this one's a USB-C 2 port. Another con includes not having a Touch ID sensor, at least on the base model of the MacBook Neo. And as you can see, this is the base model because they replaced it with a lock button. If you do want the Touch ID sensor, you have to pay an extra $100. And the good thing about that is you'll get the 512GB model, and you will also unlock the Touch ID sensor, of course. The fourth con is a little bit controversial because some people really don't mind it, and some people even love it, like me, is that it's a clicking trackpad instead of those force touch trackpads that Apple usually puts on their MacBooks. I really like it, personally. Some other non-obvious cons that the MacBook Neo has is it's not an M chip like they usually put in their MacBooks, but instead it's a budget chip that Apple just put because they had a lot of them. It's the A18 Pro chip, which surprisingly is in the 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max. Also, some other ones include only having a 6-core CPU instead of a normal 10-core CPU that Apple usually puts in their MacBooks. Also, the MacBook Neo is unfortunately maxed out at 8 GB of RAM, which doesn't upset me that badly, but for some people that want to do like big jobs on the MacBook Neo, it might upset them. Now let's talk about the pros. The first pro that I want to talk about is that the MacBook Neo has Apple Intelligence included, which is a really, really big thing for me personally. The second is a little bit controversial, but it's that it has a 13-inch screen instead of those 13.6-inch screens and those 14.2-inch screens, and it gets bigger than that. But the reason I like it is that I don't really like big screens because they're not very like useful when you're trying to like travel and like use it for outdoor use. Also, you still get a 1080p camera instead of those 720p cameras, which are very, very bad. The fourth pro is that you still get liquid retina display, which is a big plus for me personally. The fifth pro is that it supports spatial audio and Dolby Atmos, which the speakers are right here. Let me see if I can show you them. There's one speaker right here, and there's another speaker right here. And lastly, the sixth and last pro that I want to talk about is voice isolation, which most people really don't use when you're using a MacBook, but if you're using Zoom and you're doing Zoom meetings or whatever, like virtual meetings on your MacBook, this could be very, very helpful. But would I say that the MacBook Neo is worth it for $600? I would say yes, and I would give it a 8 out of 10. I would take away 2 points because of the limitations that this machine has, but other than that, it's a really, really good machine for daily tasks. I would say even for video editing, if you're not using like fancy video editing stuff on there. But what do you think about the MacBook Neo? Do you think it's a good laptop to use for everyday tasks? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below or right there. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.